Morning everyone, Sunday paper review. We're on a train so can't shout, so hopefully the sound's good enough. I'm here with Ben. We was at Bellator last night in London. Cracking event. Probably see some more coverage of that on MMA latest today, and for the rest of this week, go check it out. Some unbelievably talented local UK talent and Alex Reid. He's a fucking fraud and needs to retire. Anyway, so today we've only got the one paper, Sunday paper, Sunday Mirror. Let's just crack into it. We've also got the Snapchat Q&A, so if you sent me a Snapchat Q&A, that'll be in here as well. I'll be answering all of them, providing the signal holds out. So, back page on the Mirror, Game of Stones. And are talking, City want to pay 50 million for John Stones, and Boney's going to be part of the deal going the other way. So I don't know if it's 50 million plus Boney, which, how much did City pay for Boney? Like 30 mil?
I think 28, 32.
So with inflation, let's say that's 30 million. So you're looking at 80 million pound for John Stones. Now people have been flipping out all week saying that Paul Pogba's not worth 100 million. Talk me through that one. I can't look that way at the moment. Even my neck's killing.
I don't know.
I pulled my neck in the shower.
Not doing anything.
No, literally just like turned it on, looked up and went, ah. 80 million pound for John Stones. Now, I see the argument to say that Roberto Martinez is not a defensive manager, can't set his teams up defensively, and that leads him to have like poor shows from his defenders. Like the defenders don't look good playing under him because he's not a good defensive manager. So I can give him that free pass, but he's not impressed with the season in the slightest. To suggest he's worth 50 or 80 million.
Well, they paid 50 million for Sterling based on the back of what?
I thought Sterling's a bit more of an exciting player though, and I thought he proved it a little bit more, at least, than Stones has. Stones really, he's not done anything to warrant this for me, really. So that good Premier League player, definitely. But
he's done a few Cruyff turns in the 18-yard box, and then people think he's low for Mateus.
Another match of the day highlights player. Not even.
I mean, he's only young, isn't he? But it's so you buying potential of what it can be, or you're paying for the finished article.
80 million. Now, this is another massive spend for City's defence. Already got Otamendi, 34 million. Already got Mangala, which was 30 million or something like that. Plus,
it was a world record for a defender, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so at the time.
Plus company. So that's 4 30, 40, 50 million pound defenders. Can only play 2 generally.
Well, company's going to be injured for 90% of the season, so.
And Mangala's gash.
Can't even get in the team ahead of a debutant in the quarter-final.
So
ahead of Adil Rami.
Like, I can see why City want a defender, whether it's him or not. And I know that they need to up their English quota, so I can understand why they would try and go for Stones. But do you know what? I think they'd be better getting Phil Jones. I'm not sure United would sell Phil Jones to him.
Just so someone to sit in the background. Well, they signed that Patrick Roberts.
No, I think they try and set up. I mean, Richard righted it, didn't they, with a couple of players? But no, I think they'd sign him to play him. I think he in his head at least would be a first choice. But I don't know if he's what they need.
He probably set for Pep, wouldn't he, as a ball playing defender?
Yeah.
They haven't really got one.
Yeah. So is he that PK role?
Yeah, they can't, because all 3 of them like companies. I rate company on his day.
I do. I think he's a cracking centre half.
Otamendi is a bit reckless at times, and he's a bit last ditch, isn't he? And he's not really. I don't really bring the ball. I don't see that mature, relaxed. Do you know that? Maybe it's
I don't see that Rolls Royce. Yeah, maybe like we said before, like maybe the way Roberto Martinez sets his teams up, he's not been allowed to do that. But even when he's played in the England side under different managers, I haven't seen that from him.
Yeah, well, England's a different topic altogether.
It is a different topic altogether, which we might get into actually, because also on the back page they're talking about Sam Allardyce, but we'll get into that when we get in there in a minute. The top right corner of the paper here, Conte ups the ante with Kante. Put down for the rundown there. 32 million. Now that sounds to me like it was the buyout clause. I thought his buyout clause was 20 million. So I don't know if they've offered above and beyond that. Why would you? I'm not. Like I said, release clauses are a nonsense essentially.
They knew he was going anyway because he bought that other kid in the centre midfield, didn't they? But they made a decent profit.
Oh, they made a hell of a profit. It would have been 12 months.
Yeah.
Hell of a profit, but arguably, like,
they were class.
Worth more. Watford have turned down 30 million for Igalo and Deeney.
Yeah, but when that's brought to China, wasn't it? Unless
so, like, player transfer values, there's a lot that comes into them, and I did a bit of a joke formula last summer, I think it might have been, or it might have been in January, to try and explain where transfer fees come from. And I put mad things in there, like how many Instagram followers you've got, and it's actually incredibly accurate when you I think we used like goals per game, star value, potential, years left on their contract, stuff like that. It was a joke, but the theme of it's correct. Like a player transfer value comes from like the stature of the selling club, the stature of the buying club, how many years left on his contract, is there going to be a resale? Like if United spend 100 million on Paul Pogba, is he going to retire at United? Not with me nor Rail or his age.
No, that's right.
Nah, that guy loves a signing on bonus. So I think
getting a big one off that.
I think that you buy Pogba knowing or hoping you get 4 or 5 years out of him, maybe like one full big contract,
and then he goes to Madrid.
He renews halfway through and then gets sold to Madrid
for 150.
Probably at a profit.
Yeah, you would imagine.
Like when you buy 18, 17-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo for 12 million, people lose their shit. You're selling for a world record fee 6 years later. That's the sort of thing that you don't want, but you sort of expect. There's resale value in there, isn't there? So you don't mind doing it. What you don't want to do, and this is what Mourinho's been guilty of in the past, is where you buy Shevchenko for 30 million at 30 or 29, or really Crespo.
His decision. I can't really say Crespo, because Crespo bagged a lot in that.
But but it was a big fee with no resale. That's the point.
Yeah, but that was at a time where they were just going to buy that success.
There was, and they also signed other players, and I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Makaleli was like 30.
In that bracket, yeah, 28, 29, 30-year-old players that didn't have resale value for big dough. Whereas United generally never signed that sort of player. The first one that I can really remember us doing was Romeo van Persie, where that was not even a lot of cash in the grand scheme of things, 24 million.
And then, for what he did.
Yeah, I got it wrong actually. That I thought he'd played only one season, where he'd played all 38 games. It was actually the season before we bought him. He managed to play all 30 games. Then he played all 38 games for us. Come off the bench against Everton for his debut, then started the rest of the 37 games. And then decided he was injured again after that once Fergie had gone. Completely tossed it off. So resale value, I think, is a massive thing. Oh yeah, it was incredible that night. And I was going to say the Villa one, but that was under Fergie, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so resale value is a massive factor to play into when you're talking about player transfers. And people go like, well, because I think Cruz is probably slightly better than Pogba. I think,
at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think right now, I think Cruz is probably the best midfielder, at least available in the world.
Is he available?
Don't know. Real Madrid are always up for selling someone, as long as it's not Ronaldo.
If it could fund, more like James Rodriguez.
Yeah, which was, I saw that not in the paper, but I saw that online this morning.
Yeah.
And I've said for months that I think that's a United style of signing.
I don't know, mate. He just doesn't seem to have the right attitude. Would it be a Di Maria?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it'd be a Di Maria, but I don't think he'd light it up the way people expect. But Alexis Sanchez didn't really light it up in Spain, didn't really suit him. Comes to England, I think he looks good.
He's playing with Messi and Neymar, so
that's it. So
play third fiddle to them.
Well, there you go. So James Rodriguez playing third fiddle to the likes of Bale, Ronaldo, etc. Is that affecting his game?
If he's not centre forward,
no, he's not.
He's attacking midfield. So.
But is it impacting on what he'd want to do in a game? You don't know.
No, I just think it impacts his position in the team. Yeah, you can only have. You've got them in the front three.
Yeah, you got Modric, you got Cruz. The position.
And then you need someone who's going to hold it.
The options are limited for him, so it's understandable why he's not letting up Madrid. But I don't think if we signed him, especially for the 60-70 million that you're talking about, I wouldn't be like, oh shit, like I would be if we signed Pogba. If we signed Pogba, I'm going to be excited. I might even order in a Magnum of Verve. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon if we sign him, we'll win the league.
I think we're in a strong position anyway. The noise is coming out, and the other thing on the back page here is cheer up Jose, the lads are off to a flyer. I mean, I've not seen the game yesterday. We was on the train as the game was played. Was on the tube, and then was working all night, so we've not seen anything of the game at all. We've seen, well, actually, United tweeted out the goals, didn't we? So we've seen the goals. That's literally all we've seen. And I saw one of the interviews with Jose afterwards, so I need to watch it today when I get in anyway. So
well, there's that thing, we didn't see the actual story, but it was on L'Equipe on it last night.
Yeah, the L'Equipe are saying that this is what's interesting with the Pogba thing, is that everyone's just saying matter of days, matter of days, matter of days. No one's coming out and going,
Is he back on holiday tomorrow or today?
sure.
So expect to see
Maybe see some movement. Like I said on my video last week, that the one thing that needs to happen here now is Pogba needs to tell Juventus he wants to bounce. That's the one thing, because, and I think Juventus are probably saying to him, you need to come out and tell the fans that you want to go, because if we sell you and you've not come out and said you want to go, we look like dicks.
even if it is for.
Yeah. So I think that's the one thing we're waiting for, and if that happens, I think that the transfers.
Yeah, there's a lot of like things waiting to fall into place, and like Higuain and and the like.
I think the Higuain thing's massive, because like we said this yesterday on the train down. Actually, we said Juventus are very shrewd in their transfer market. They pick up a ton of free transfers, really good deals. They got Pogba on a free. They built that whole midfield for about 500 bag, didn't
they? On a lot.
They pick up top bargains. So for them to be talking 60, 70, 80, 90 million for Higuain, guy's a quality striker. But and he's bagged in Italy, so I can see why they're thinking.
He broke the record, but I think for me it's a bit like Cavani. He's
Maybe.
like top player, but then
doesn't always
do
impact
it
it at
at
the top
that
level.
level. Well, people saying, "Oh, he broke the record like last year," and Napoli were like, I mean, Juventus demolded it after they had probably poor start, and then he won pretty much every game from October or something like that. But Higuain was scoring all these goals, and when he was getting the pressure, was getting on top, he got sent off in the game, and he missed 3 games.
And
Because he was going, I think he was like
never managed to gel it with Messi in that unbelievable Argentina team.
some of the stuff that he was doing in the Copa America. It's like missing that crucial, when it's pressure's really, really on, is he going to perform? I've just questioned that. Like, I mean, I'm questioning his ability to back goal, or just that the amount of time when he matters.
Arsenal mentality.
Yeah, basically.
So
I don't know, but 94. It's mad, isn't it?
Well,
the amount
do
of
you know
money
what?
that's flying about.
Let's skip forward to this, because I wanted to talk about this. Transfer market madness. This is Andy Dunn saying 20 years ago. the first paragraph's quality. 20 years ago, 15 million got you Alan Shearer. Today it gets you Jordan Ibe. But by the same rule, 18 years ago, 7 million got you Andy Cole, and 5 years ago, 7 million got you Bebe.
Yeah,
So
20 years ago, 3.75 got you Roy Keane.
yeah. And what does 3.75 get you now? Probably a 14-year-old.
Well, would have thought about 7 Mahrez's or something, 6 or 7 Mahrez.
That's not a bad point. There's still bargains to be found, obviously, the likes of Leicester, and there's other teams that are pricking up amazingly good transfers. And people always say, like, why can't United do that? They can do that, and we have done that in the past, and we've done that in recent times as well. But it's almost safer for clubs like United, especially at the board level, to go big on a transfer rather than to spend still millions of pounds, or a couple of £1 million, still a couple of £1 million, isn't it? It's still how many thousands of season tickets, to gamble on a first team player.
I don't think they really, because the United season ticket prices aren't that high in the grand scheme of things. I think they're about in the middle, aren't they?
The TV revenue is dwarfed what they get from, like, people say, oh, the fans have got a voice, and the fans have got choice, and the fans have got power in this, and we've really not, because the season ticket sales means nothing
in the grand scheme of things.
What's my 700 quid do when they're getting 100 and something from the TV?
It's that plus like
million.
What you're spending, you're spending at the game or whatever, around about merchandising and things like that. But TV's the one that's gone in, because if you didn't have the TV money, like Real Madrid can't sign Pogba for economical reasons. They've got their own TV deal.
The Real Madrid Barcelona TV deal with La Liga is ridiculous, because the likes of Espanyol get about 10 million, I think. 20 million.
Like even distribution in the Premier League, and that's why it's that competitive.
Exactly right. Because really, if you look at, I think in all of our first 6 games moves for TV. We're still a big TV draw, the same way Madrid Barcelona are.
6.
But we did a collective bargain.
One of them's against Watford away. I think one's Hull away. And you're like, really?
No, how many people are tuning in to watch Watford? No disrespect to those, but they're not.
I think that's just to get like Sky and BT to say we're going to feature every club by a certain date. If we put them on for United, it's guaranteed viewing figures, which most people are just tuning in, unless you're not United or Watford fan. So United get beat.
United get 120 million. It's tiered, I think, depending on how many times you're on and how where you finish in the table. But I think in Spain, I'm sure it's worth in the region of 200 to 250 to Barcelona and Real Madrid. That's where the bulk of their cash. Yeah, it's not much. I mean, Google it if you want, but I'm sure it's somewhere in the crazy region that they get. I think if it was 500 million, they get like 89% of it.
I mean, a lot of stuff is back because I think didn't Barcelona admit to tax fraud with the Neymar transfer?
Somewhat dodgy.
And then obviously, a lot of clubs have got to pay back money from like the help from the state.
Yeah, Real Madrid are shit with that at the moment, aren't they? I think that's the economic.
It's like 40 million.
I think that's part of the economical reasons. I mean, but they still make it dumb.
Even like the smaller teams, I think like Malaga and Sociedad, that sort of thing. I think they've still got to pay like 3-4 million quid back, which when you're not got a massive outlet on your transfers, it's going to hit you in there.
Who's all looking at here now? There's a good article here on the same thing under Andy Dunn column, talking about Arsene Wenger cocking up. Well, I'll come to Arsene Wenger in a minute because there's talk of him with the England job from Robbie Fowler, and it says in here, is Wenger cocking up by allowing the likes of Henry and Vieira to leave the club and go on and be successful coaching elsewhere? He's obviously not allowing Terry Henry to be the under-18s coach because he's got a job at Sky.
Conflicts of interest, maybe.
It is a slight conflict of interest with his under-18s.
I suppose he wants someone to be entirely focused on that because he wants them to develop these 18-year-olds that will play 2 games in the League Cup and then get sold to a League One club anyway. So
they'll go Barcelona or whatever it is, or City. City like buying Arsenal players, don't they? But really, I mean, the under-18s don't train that much. How 1 day a week, 2 days a week?
That is 18.
No, I mean for Sky, how many days a week is he going to be on Sky? 2-3 days a week tops. 1-2 days more than likely. For a couple of hours, and he's still talking about football.
If it's not a couple of hours, is it? It's the whole before and the whole after. It's done just because you see him on the TV for that 2-hour slot.
Yeah, I suppose if you've got to travel to Newcastle, it's a day out.
And they've got to do the prep time and everything like that. So.
I don't know how much prep they do, individually. I think they have researchers do the prep and then hand them notes.
Something like that. Well, I suppose that's just like being president.
And then they just pay 3, 4, 5 million. I think the highest paid on Sky, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Gary Neville's back on Monday Night Football.
Is he back from this season?
I think so. I'm trying to see.
If I was Jamie Carragher, I'd tear into it.
Yeah.
Only as a mate. I mean, some people take this shit far too seriously. Like, no one can rip you like your mates, and I think Gary Neville and Carragher are pretty good mates, to be honest. So I think you can tear into each other and smile about it, and no one takes it to heart. I think a lot of people take far too much to heart when there's banter, about quoting Richard Keys. But I think there's a point there to like Wenger doesn't seem to want anybody else to come in and share the limelight with him. Vieira's doing a decent job over in New York. I think the top of their division.
Are they? Yeah. Every time I see them, they keep getting beat.
Yeah, I think they're just top of their conference in Conference East or something. Like I said, Terry Henry can't coach under 18. Like, if you're an Arsenal player, Terry Henry's an Arsenal legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right, the video just stopped recording. It was in mid-flow talking about Terry Henry, so we just kick off back on that again. So I was saying Terry Henry's an Arsenal legend, isn't it? And he did it in the big games. That goal that's constantly shown against United, sending it back to goal, turned us. That's the sort of guy that you want around a training ground. If you're an under-18s player, you can look up to Terry Henry and you can say, that's where I want to be. The guy was technical, he was professional. I said he did it on the biggest stage, and Arsene Wenger doesn't want those guys around, and I can't understand why he wouldn't want those guys around.
He's the only one who's, has he got Steve Bold?
Yeah.
But he won the league, didn't he? Twice, I think, he won the league.
Steve Bold?
No, Henry. That's all he won with Arsenal, 2 leagues.
Did he come after the 98 one?
Yeah, I think he was...
he come that season. I think he might have come that season.
Not sure, maybe. 99, 2000. But yeah, he won 2 leagues and was it 1 FA Cup or something. Like his transfer record for trophy haul for Arsenal weren't great.
No, well, Arsenal's trophy haul hasn't been great, despite what they've done. I remember Red Issue when we signed Jaap Stam said something along the lines of, why have we paid 10.6 million for a Dutch Steve Bold?
You could, even if you started off with like players who Fergie let go too early, he'd be like top.
But He tested positive for non-drug, didn't he?
Did he?
Talking about drugs in sport, I'm pretty sure. I mean, allegedly.
When he was at Lazio.
Yeah, I think he got popped for doing something. Look, and maybe Fergie was aware of that. Maybe. I think Fergie got rid of him. He says he got rid of him because of his book. I think he got rid of him because his Achilles didn't heal right. You saw that he wasn't an after player once he came back from his surgery. So
I don't know. Still maybe a bit early.
Anyway, staying on Arsenal, staying on Howson. Robbie Fowler's wrote a column here saying that he thinks that Arsene Wenger, England need to break the bank for Arsene Wenger. Now England break the bank anyway because the England job's the most highly paid job in world football, in national managers at least. Anyway, it's like
For what?
for just abject failure after abject failure. We was having a chat before we started, and we were saying like it is a retirement job, so it might actually be perfect for Wenger. He's at that stage in his career. Because usually do a 4-year stint, don't they?
Yeah, 2 tournaments.
Yeah, 2 tournaments usually. That's what they do in it. So that'd make him. Sure, it must have his age in here somewhere.
Maybe about 70.
Yeah, he's not far off. He's mid-60s at least, I would have thought. Doesn't say, does it? I can't see his age anywhere. Anyway, but either way, he does look old. He does look proper old. He looked well young when he came.
Yeah, but it's like transformation of 20 years. You look at Fergie.
True.
Yeah, but Fergie looks a lot fresher now.
I'm sure there's a lot of pressure as United.
Yeah.
And even Arsenal boss, let's face it.
Well, that's what we was talking about yesterday with Steve Bruce and the Galatasaray comments.
Yeah, if you've not seen the comments from Steve Bruce on Galatasaray, go and find them. What happened at Galatasaray with Fergie, quality. I love that sort of shit. That's the stuff that never comes out that I love hearing about. Yeah. There's loads of things happen in dressing rooms that never comes out.
I was thinking, why did because remember when we was with Alistair and Sharp? I was thinking, Alistair would have been there. I wonder why. That would be one of the stories that you'd pull out, wouldn't it?
They must have loads that they don't say. Sharpie was weird, man. He just sat there doodling on himself. We had the flyer.
It was funny though.
It was funny. More interested in golf than football though. So Wenger as England boss, and they're saying what Fowler's saying is he's a great manager, knows the expectations that come with managing England. Roy from Coronation Street knows the expectations when come up managing England. There's a difference between knowing what the expectation is and being able to hit it. He knows what the expectation is for Arsenal, and he's not been able to deliver it for over 10 years. Despite potentially unlimited budget, despite having some of the best technical footballers at his disposal, maybe the best thing for Wenger would actually be the England job, because if he's not dictating transfers, he can only piss with the cock he's got with England. He would have to play to some of the strengths of some of the England players, like a Vardy, like a Kane, like maybe a Dele Alli or someone like that. And because I think his weakness is that he refuses to sign, or is unable to sign players that don't suit his very particular style of play. No plan B players. Now maybe that means that he wouldn't call up any plan B players.
Sign Vardy.
Yeah, he did try to sign Vardy. So maybe he is evolving. But
A bit late for that.
like we just said, his inability to sign him. So he didn't sign him.
He tried.
Yeah. He tried to win the league as well. Didn't manage to win the
He
league.
signed some Japanese.
Yeah, who scores 1 in 6 in Japan. He's going to be quality, isn't he? Fuck off. Anyway, so maybe that'd be the best thing for him though. Maybe if he had to adapt himself to what was available in the England squad, maybe you'd actually see. Because he does actually play fairly nice football. People always complain that England teams don't play football. The problem is though, I don't think it's the problem with the guy at the top of the tree. I think the problem starts at the very bottom. If you look at the coaches of every kids team, it's just dads. There's no coaches, there's no money in the game at the lower level.
And it's about like the kids that come in at 21. Or he's playing them national tournaments.
Yeah, like
as a young age.
Yeah.
Like we don't really, just to give them that experience to know what to expect.
Was it last year or the year before? One of the newspapers put out, here's what the team could be if we selected everyone, and the team would have been mint. It might have been a couple of years ago actually, but it would have been
under 21.
Yeah, it was like an under 21s team, and it was class. And you're like, and here's what the team actually is. And it was just a load of like people that weren't playing first team football for their clubs.
Playing like League One or something.
Yeah, it just or was out on loan from Chelsea or United or Liverpool or something like that. And you're just like Rashford could have gone to the under-19 tournament. Instead he went and played like 20 minutes for England this summer. Would it not have been better for maybe Rashford to lead the line for the under-19s this summer at the tournament that they're at.
They've been doing well, haven't they?
They've been doing well, but could they not done better?
Well, I don't know, they're in the semis.
What, I mean,
Performance-wise.
yeah, could they not have done better? Would it not have developed Rashford more to play at that age group, leading the line in a tournament rather than coming off the bench and being part of the disappointment?
I know, it's just get promoted too quick, don't they?
They do. Like, the one player who I think is an unbelievable turd of a player is James Milner.
Milton Keynes Central.
When leaving us here, make sure you have all your
But he
luggage
played
and
about
belongings with you.
7,000 games at under 21 level for England.
Thank you for
Probably because he
travelling
wasn't
with
good enough
Virgin
to make the
Trains.
step up into the first team, but he was used at under
I
21.
don't know, because he's decent to have around the squad.
I just think he's shit, mate.
It was like picking a squad in it to do a job.
Well, we said
like,
this on the escalators, isn't it? Before that, we generally just pick the best players. But I like the idea of picking different types of players. Like I said, I would have took Carroll just because everyone was a bit samey, and if you need to lump the ball up sometimes, you need someone to get on the end of them.
If you got like a spate of injuries or whatever, no one could fill in a number of positions.
He could, yeah.
Which
yeah.
he'd do a job. You don't expect him to do well, but you want someone who
No,
knows.
I've got no issue with him being in the squad. I've got an issue with him starting games.
Yeah, but head of other people.
Yeah, ahead of like people who can play football.
I want to start him. Not a chance, but I mean, England's a different.
A joke waiting to happen. I didn't see that before. One of the headlines on the side here is 50 million stones is a joke waiting to happen.
Described as a luxury you can live without.
I think that was it. Oh right, yeah. Do you know what? Let's get into the Snapchat, and I'll get Ben to answer some of these as well. So hopefully I've got a signal. Otherwise, I might have to stop the video and start it again. Put my hotspot on. So let's go. No internet. Let's try again. Hopefully we've got signal. Looking good so far. Start at the bottom. Oh my god, there's loads. From James JMKR. He sent me two. Do you think there's a possibility of getting James and Pogba, and do we need both? I think it is possible. I think it's mega unlikely. It's a lot of cash to outlay. You're looking at probably 170 million across two players.
I don't think so, then. I think the squad would be too big.
It'd be very top heavy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there'd have to be quite a number of departures, and it's like what we're saying yesterday is like reducing what actually ongoing, saying trying to find a buyer and paying his wages is completely different.
Yeah, what we were saying yesterday is like, why would you keep the likes of Ashley Young ahead of the likes of Varela, who would be on like at least probably more than a quarter of his wage, younger, better in that position. But yeah, you're right. If Young is on 120, 130 grand a week, finding someone who's going to pay that for the level of footballer he is going to be tough. Right. Billy Pilmer 5-1 saying, will you be going to away games next season? If I get tickets, the new away ticket rule has fucked everyone, and for the first couple of months it's going to be absolutely chaos. No idea. For those who don't know, they're going to be doing spot checks, ID checks, and away tickets are going to have people's names on it. If the ticket doesn't match the name on your ID, then the person whose ticket it is originally, because obviously people get tickets in their own name. I'm not in a loyalty pot, so I've got like, I'll probably get maybe one, maybe none. More likely none, but maybe 1 out of 19, maybe. If I apply in my name, I never get tickets through my name. I get them through friends who've got execs, and I get them through people who've got spares, and that's where the helping each other out. If you get a spare, you help someone else out, and then you're like, hey, remember when I helped you out? That's when the tickets come back to you, and that's literally the only way you get tickets. Most of the time it's through execs. Execs have got a better chance of getting away tickets, and that's how most people graph for them. They get them through mates who've got execs. With the new rule for away tickets, I was chatting to Pete Bolton. If everyone knows Pete Bolton, he's not missed a Manchester United game at home since 1977. That's friendlies, testimonials, 21s, all that sort of shit. Goes home and away, goes on a tour. Like the club have even took him to games on tour when there wasn't transport from like South Africa to Zimbabwe or something. They took him on the club coach because that's what the guy does. He goes everywhere with United. And I was talking to him about aways, and he even thinks he's not going to manage to score for all the games, which is ridiculous. So, oh, and if you are caught swapping tickets or selling tickets on. I mean, it's fair play with the touts, but like people sorting mates out at face value, you know, that's football. You got to do that.
I don't understand like the thought process behind it.
They're trying to get rid of touting, but when people go, oh, it's just a mate sorted me out, well, that's what you'd say if he was caught touting. So I think that by them just making it, it's hard on
Blanket.
everyone. Yeah, but by doing blanket fucking everyone about, they will definitely reduce the touting, but they're also going to screw over a lot of Reds that go home and away, and that's a nightmare. But from the club's point of view, I can see why they've done it, because people complain like
You do the app, but like what about them sites where you can go on like via GoGo and all that?
don't know how that's going to work now.
Welcome to
It's legalised touting.
Central.
I know, yeah.
When leaving us here,
So I don't know how
make
this is
sure
going to
you have
work.
all your
It's going to be
luggage
interesting to see. It's going to be chaos for the first couple of months of the season.
Down to the platform.
Thank you for travelling with Virgin Trains.
So I hope to be going to all the games, but I know for a fact I will not be scoring for probably all of them. And it'll be interesting to see if the club do start banning people for it. They clamped down on loads of people that I know last season for selling face value executives and stuff like that. They've just gone in, and they're right to clamp down on the touting, because the touting for away games is ridiculous. Like at Villa away last year, the guy told me 180 quid as we were standing outside as the game had kicked off, and the lad that I was waiting for turned up with a ticket which was face value. It was actually under face value. He wanted less than face for it.
Welcome on board Virgin Trains.
So
We'll be travelling
that's
to
how it ends up working. Now, if we'd have gone inside the ground, that ticket went in my name. We'd have gone in the ground, I could have get banned, that guy's going to get banned, and what's the point of that? He's not touting anyone, he's not being a dick with it, he's just passing them on. Now, how that works with, you know, let's say me and Ben score tickets in our name, he's got an emergency, can't go, what do I do? Does the ticket go to waste, or can I pass it on to another mate?
No, so you're gonna have to sell it, give it back to the club,
Yeah,
they
you gotta
charge you
give
an admin fee, and then sell it back at full price again, which...
And like I said, I can see why the club do it, because they must get so many complaints by people kicking off saying I can never get tickets for away games, and it is ridiculous. Like, unless you've got a network of people, you're not going to get one a season, let alone one for a game. I mean, and there's tons of games, like the randomest games. Sunderland, do people scratching around talking about paying 3-4 times face to go to Sunderland, because that's everyone wants to go watch United away? It's madness, but it is what it is anyway. Will do, mate, sorry. Is Pogba worth 100 million?
Yeah.
After 10 minutes against Wigan, I think we'll see him. I didn't see his 10 minutes, but I hope we do. I hope we do see more of him. Oh, hey, well, do you think we'll see MVP in the UFC? Supposedly he's got 4 fights left on his Bellator contract.
I'm really sorry, I'm 53.
Oh,
I don't mind taking this one.
yeah, I think I'm signed up.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Surely the UFC is a bigger draw. I think he just wants to fight and he wants to get his name out there, and if he does that using Bellator, I think he's happy. He seemed it last night anyway.
He's got 4 fights left on his contract.
We interviewed him after the fight last night, and he said he's not even looking for a title fight at the moment. He said he's just happy getting his name out there, doing his stuff, and throwing pokeballs at people after his... Oh, actually, we just got a text then. Potential broken skull on Cyborg.
Yeah.
And if you've not seen the KO, go and check my Twitter feed. It's on the timeline somewhere. It's him with a flying knee, and just, I mean, it looked painful instantly. Anyway, would I take Koscielny?
No.
No. Shea Power. Do I think Memphis will have a future at United? Yeah, I think he's going to be class. Joseph Stanton. Thoughts on James Rodriguez going to West Ham?
No, they won't pay that.
I don't know, they do seem a bit desperate for a big signing, don't
Yeah,
they?
they won't pay that.
Ben thinks no. I think no as well. I think they've got a bigger... But they are desperate for a big signing. By the
Yeah,
looks
but
of
not for
it.
60. 7 now.
Tea or coffee? Tea. Tea or coffee?
Neither.
What do I make of MVP, and do you think we'll see him in the UFC? The UFC isn't everything, right? It is the top champ, but it's not everything. I think he's quality. I think if I was Bellator, I would push him as the face of MMA in the UK. Really nice lad, charismatic. Fights are just the most exciting thing you could ever want to watch. You got to push that guy. He's a superstar in waiting. And he said, as we interviewed him last night, he said he wants to be remembered as the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
Anderson Silva he's been compared to, and he's like, well, no disrespect to Anderson, but I want to be remembered as better than that. And you're like, whoa. Adam Farrell, 99. Who do I think will win the rematch between McGregor and Diaz? I don't know, mate. That's why they got to do it. Last one, Talvin.
Okay, well, I've just got on to
Do
the
I play
second
Pokemon Go? Can't get the angle on that. No, I'm an adult. I don't play Pokemon Go. I got kids and a mortgage. So no, I don't play Pokemon Go. Right, listen, everybody, thank you. For everyone who sent the question in, thank you for watching. Go give Ben a follow at Badams1983 on Twitter. And we'll see you tomorrow for a transfer review on Full-Time Devils. And all sorts of shit coming out this week. I think Ben's coming round to play a bit of FIFA sometime soon as well.
Yeah, possibly. I'm going to get some free time.
Yeah.
Right, nice one, see you in a bit.
See you in a bit.